Hi, everyone. Well, I just wanted to share my experience I had. It was around the year 2000, actually, January in the year 2000. It was shortly after I had come into the knowledge of the Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, and I had given my faith and dedicated my life over to Jesus. One night I went to sleep and I had this dream. I was in the middle of fasting, so no food. I was having liquids, but no food. It had been a few days, and the Bible does talk about uh, the benefits of fasting because you're able to hear the Holy Spirit better. You have more supernatural experiences, especially if you're dedicating it to prayer. So I went to sleep this particular night and I had what felt like more of a vision. I would say that it was a vision, except I know that I went to sleep and I woke up, so I call it a dream. But it felt so real. So I was transported into this all white room. It was like a cathedral. It was white. It was wide. It was a huge space. From floor to ceiling, everything was pure lily white. And there was this throne. It it seemed like this in this room there was no furniture. I don't believe I can get AI to actually make a photo or video like this, but in this room, in this like cathedral, this church hall, um, it seemed like this stone. It, there was a throne carved out of stone, but it was connected to the wall. So, if you can think of a big rectangle block, and it's not something someone put there, but it was carved out of the wall. And in the center of this rectangle block was a seat that was carved out of it. Now, mind you, this rectangle block goes from wall to wall, and sitting on the throne was this creature. And in the dream, everything felt very real. So I felt my feelings and I was nervous, but I never showed it on my face. That is something I do in my waking hours, even if I'm afraid or worried or stressed, unless I know you personally, I won't show any emotion. So I was looking at him. He was this he it almost reminded me when I was a kid there was a TV show called It was a TV show called Land of the Lost. And there were these creatures. They had the bodies of humans, of course, because they were in costume. They had 2 arms and 2 legs, but the heads looked like lizards and they had lizard hands and lizard feet. So this creature in front of me was black and slick like oil, but he looked like a sleaze stack. He was this black lizard thing with long black fingernails. And he looked at me, and at this point, I was right in front of him, and he laughed. And he said, "You'll be back," with an attitude. And then he took his long black fingernail and he scratched me from my forearm to my wrist. And I woke up out of my dream in fear. And I looked at my arm, and there was an imprint in my arm of where he scratched me. And it did not leave a mark. It was gone a few minutes later. But I could feel it. I could feel it in the dream, and I could feel it when I woke. So that was one of a few experiences I had. It felt very real. It was disturbing.